Hey, how's it going everyone? It's Xzazerx here, and I got a game using the KSG, and in this game I'm going to get my MOAB for my MOAB with every gun series. And the KSG is pretty similar to the Spaz in a lot of ways. I think the fire rate may be a little slower, but I think the damage actually may be a little bit higher. But either way, I definitely prefer the Spaz over the KSG, so I typically don't use this gun because if I'm going for a pump action shotgun, I'll stick with the Spaz. But for the sake of this series, I put on this gun and went for a MOAB, and I ended up getting it this game, which Hardhat's a pretty good game, pretty good map to get shotgun, to do well with a shotgun. And the trick is to just never go over near B domination, and like this room right here, it's pretty well suited for shotguns because anyone in that range is going to be almost a one-shot kill if you're using damage, which I have all my shotguns gold. I have, as of right now, I only have the RSAS left to get gold. I have all the other guns 31, and my RSAS is like 30 and a half, but I think I can get it gold pretty soon. And as you can see, in this gameplay I'll work my way back from this building to that other like barrel room towards the middle, like little side room. And I think that's smart to do on this map, especially with the type of players I'm playing against. The kind of rushing gameplay that, if you watch my USAS MOAB, that worked well on that map against those players, wouldn't work as well against these players on this map. And I think it's a good contrast. This MOAB is longer than my USAS one, but I think it just shows how you have to react to each situation and each game that you're in and treat it differently. And depending on what you're given, you have to adjust your game accordingly. And I think this is a good example of how to do that. As you can see, I picked off those two guys with my MP9, but instead of pushing forward, I backed off because I knew that they would expect me to go back over there, and if they happened to get a good spawn and were close, they had an SMG, they could pretty easily take me out. So I backed off and went to this building, which is easy to hold down with a shotgun, because sometimes my aim's a little off, but if you're head glitching up on that building, that main building back there, right here, if you head glitch on that, you can actually shoot people with a shotgun in that window if you have steady aim and damage. And so staying there is good because if you can shoot that far, you can get anyone who's going to shoot you, with the exception of people waiting way off in the distance. And if they're that far away from you, then you'll be fine to just back out. So feel pretty safe in staying in that building with a shotgun, as well as this area here. The only dangerous part is pushing out past these whatever this sort of area is. Going out here is the dangerous part. You can see people are coming up the hill there, and it's making it difficult for me to push forward. So I just simply back off because it's not worth it. And if you can go out there, it can help you if you can go down into that barrel building, but don't ever force yourself to do that. Don't do something that the map just isn't giving you. And when I say the map, I mean the position of your player, your teammates on the map, and your opponents, if you know where they are, if you have a UAV, or you can sort of tell from the position of your teammates, you can get a good sense of where the enemy is. So as you can see, I backed off and went to the other side, but nothing was happening there, so I swing back over here this way, and I think it's a good example of map awareness and patience. But just really quickly going over what I have as my setup for the KSG, I went with extreme conditioning because I don't need really anything else in the first perk slot, and I also have assassin because I want to stay stealthy, and as you can see, that's what I was talking about, how you can shoot people in there at that range. So I have Assassin, that's my second perk slot. And then my third, I'm running Sit Rep, which I don't always like to have it as my first perk slot. I usually like to unlock it, but I just really felt that it would help me right from the get-go, so I wanted it right away. Typically, I like to make it so that I unlock it in my first perk slot, because that way people can't tell that I'm using it and that I'm sound whoring them, so they won't crouch walk or won't just sit in the corner. So that's always a good technique if you can spare not starting with sit rep. But for the case of this game, I really wanted it in my first perk slot, so I went ahead and put it there. And then the first perk I unlock is Steady Aim, to go along with the high damage of the KSG, because putting on Steady Aim really increases your one-shot kill range. It's not like a little bit of a difference, it makes a big difference. But that being said, if you have a headset, I think Sit Rep Pro is still better. If you aren't using Specialist and you're just using a shotgun, go with Sit Rep Pro. But if you can have both, having Steady Aim really, really helps shotguns. Then my second perk, I'm unlocking Blast Shield, which I don't think Blast Shield is all that great. But I couldn't really think of anything else to put in the second perk slot, so I put it there. And then I have Hardline, my last perk slot, so that I can get my Specialist bonus 1 kill faster, which is a really big deal with shotguns because you get range when you get your Specialist bonus. So if you have damage, then, which I do, then you can have range and damage, which is such a deadly combination. You can get pretty long shots at with just one shot, and so that's why I had Hardline on. Right here, you can see me, I pop out really fast and then duck back, and I'm aiming down sights. I wouldn't recommend usually aiming down sights with the KSG. I just really wanted to not miss any shot, and when you're aiming down sights, your sensitivity is lowered, so it makes it easier to aim, and that's why I was aiming down sights, just so that I would have the best aim I possibly could. Going on the shotgun, I actually have extended mags, which isn't quite necessary. I don't know, it's kind of the end of the video and I'm saying that, but I was just looking at it and seeing how the KSG has a bunch of ammo already. I just didn't want to have to think about reloading. But you can see I get the MOAB, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.